Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to New It Too from
Welcome,
Be Sewing.
welcome.
It's Kaylin and Jan. We're coming to you from the Oklahoma City store, and we're so excited to have you join us today. We are going to be talking about the long arm machine, the Gallant XL, and maybe showing you something that you've never heard of, which is called thread painting. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But before we move on over to the long arm machine, I want to talk to you about a few things that are going on in Be Sew In world.
Okay.
And one of those is that we are celebrating our 40th anniversary this year.
Ooh.
And one of the ways that we're celebrating that is we have some fun 40th anniversary stickers.
Nice.
We also have punch cards that you can come into the store, and if you spend $100 pre-tax, each month you will get a punch when you do that. And at the end of the year, according to how many punches you have, you will get a gift card that is for you to spend in the store. So the more punches you get, the more you get on your gift card.
Nice.
So that, again, that's just one punch per month, but it's $100 pre-tax. So we have those fun cards. And then on the 4th of every month, which
Is today.
that is today. Wow, that is today. The 4th of every month is when we are also celebrating that it is the 40th anniversary, and we'll have specials going on every time. And we'll also have something that you can get at a really great discount. Right now, if you spend on this month's go around, if you spend at least $200, you're going to get this amazing thermal cup that is fantastic. We all have one of these at the store. Love, love, love it. It is great. You can also buy one of those if you just want to outright buy one. But so be watching for the 4th of every month. There is a 40th anniversary special, because there's not the 40th of every month. So we had to pick the 4th.
We had to pick a 4.
And then later in the year, we're going to be having a big 40th anniversary celebration. So be watching
for that.
But
Yeah.
that's later in the year.
So what do we have going on this part of the year?
Right. This part of the year, some of the things we have going on. And I'm going to start with this one right here,
Okay.
because that is coming up like right now. Club is
It
upon us
starts
for
this
March
week
again.
for March. That's right.
And in March, like in Oklahoma City, this is my Oklahoma City flyer. Ours is on the 6th.
yes.
at
Check the
1
Be Sew In
and-
calendar
and
for
6.
your store's
Right.
date.
So I don't want you to look at this and go, oh, everybody's club is on the 6th. This is
No, this is Oklahoma City's.
club.
Yes.
But they are all coming up. And Jory is one person and can only make it to one store at a time.
You know, we tried to get her to do more than one at a
And
time.
bless
But
her little heart, she's
can't.
had to be very flexible
with all the weather. I
I
know.
mean, January was a problem in Oklahoma City, and then
February was
was
Springfield and Tulsa. And it was just, yeah.
Humble. I mean,
So cross your fingers for a smooth weather for March.
right? I mean, I'm telling you, it's just like, bring on summer. I can't wait.
Yes, but
Okay,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
But that's coming up. And then if you are an Emerald member, next week on the 13th is the Emerald Sewing
Yes,
Party.
the Spring Into Sewing Party. So if you're
Right.
an Emerald member,
So if you
join us
come to club,
for
we'll
that
tell
party.
you more about it, or call your stores. They'll know what's going on.
Yes.
We also have the Artful Embroidery event coming up. We did this last year in Tulsa and had an absolute ball with it.
Yes. And actually, those are the old dates. So ignore those.
Those are old dates, yes.
Go to besewin.com for the new dates. It's coming up at the end of March is the first one.
And then we have one in Charlotte, and we also have one in Houston. And I happen to know for a fact that in Houston and Tulsa, they're not doing the heart, because they did the heart last year in Tulsa, but both of those stores are going to do the cowboy boot.
Oh, very cool.
And we're going to do the heart in Charlotte.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that'll be fun. So even if you said, hey, I've already done that one, well, you haven't done the boot.
That's right.
So that's going to be fun. And it is a really great deal. I know it's a little bit bigger price tag on that one, but let me tell you what, the amount of stuff you get in the kit is unreal.
Yeah.
It is
Incredible.
so worth it.
Incredible.
So worth it. So we would love to have you join us for that. We also have the ruler work with Ann Moore class coming up. I happen to know that Oklahoma City's is sold out with a waiting list.
But you can still join us in Fayetteville, Tulsa, or Humble to meet Ann Moore and learn ruler work. You're going to make a placemat and learn all kinds of great techniques using rulers with free motion quilting.
And we will be doing it on flatbed sewing machines.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But a lot of those ideas can extrapolate.
Oh,
to
yeah.
long
Ruler
arm.
work can go to any machine.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's coming up. And then we also have Learn to Sew. So maybe you know how to sew, but you have friends or family members that they've never learned how to sew, and maybe teaching them is just not your cup of tea. and you would rather them go
you would
take a
rather one
class
of us
somewhere.
teach them.
Well,
we're happy to do it.
We have a fantastic class. We have it going on. The morning session will be in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, or Fayetteville. And then the PM session will be in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. So the morning session is 9 to 11 for these 4 dates. And the PM session is from
3 to 5. You can read upside down.
Oh, I thought that I had my glasses off, and I was like, how can it be from 8 to 5 in the
3 to 5.
Put my glasses on these dates.
And note, we do skip a week at the beginning of May because of the amazing Sip and Surge event that you guys will hear all about from
Baby Lock soon. So, but
it's still 4 weeks, and you'll make 2 beautiful projects. You'll get a notions kit, the fabric. You'll get a sewing machine to take home.
That's right. And if you would like to upgrade to a different sewing machine, then you'll get really great deals on that. A lot of fun on that class.
Seating is limited, so do
it is
not
very
wait.
limited. So, and this is for adults. This is ages
18 and up.
Yeah, 8 or 17 and up.
17 and up.
Kids camp only goes to age 16, so 17 and up.
17 and up.
Yep. So little kids aren't for this one. We have little kid camp coming in the summertime.
Yeah,
we'll
keep
have
your
more
eyes peeled for
on
details on kids camp.
So those are some of the fun things we have going on. I'm telling you, between the classes and the events and the clubs and the parties and the fun stickers you can collect and the ways you can earn free stuff, I'm telling you, there's not a reason to not come to Be Sew In.
That's right.
All you have to do is come to any one of your local stores, which would be Humble, Oklahoma City, Muskogee, Tulsa, Fayetteville, or Springfield. Come see us, and we can't wait to share all the fun with you. Let's head over to the Gallant so you can teach them about thread painting.
Okay.
Okay, Kaylin, so now we're going to show them all about the Gallant XL.
Yes.
It is a wonderful addition to the Baby Lock line.
Mm-hmm.
It is the smaller of the options that you have for long arm quilting. Of course, we all know the Regalia is the big boy, and it's on the big frame, or it can be on a sit-down table. Well, Gallant is, this is the Gallant XL, which makes it an 18-inch
it has an
throat.
18-inch throat space here to here.
Yes, and there's
this
also...
one can come as a sit-down table or on a frame as well.
Right, and we have it on the frame, obviously. And there is also the Gallant that is the 15-inch throat.
Mm-hmm.
But the frame would be the same. And I'm going to back up here so you can see the frame. It's the same frame. It's just if you're on a Gallant, you would end up setting up the frame for it to be narrower.
So this unit would go in further, basically,
because,
so that the bars aren't as deep for the reduced throat space of a regular Gallant.
Right, so go ahead, and I'm going to stand over here. Can you pull the machine all the way forward? Okay, so right there, this is an 18-inch throat, and if you have a 15-inch throat, then it's not going to come as far forward.
It's going to come to about here.
So that part of the frame would sit further back just a bit.
And so we've got quite a bit of movement here.
Yeah. So this is an 8-foot frame. I'm going to come over this direction. If you'll step over to the side, Kaylin.
Which side?
To that side.
Okay.
There you go. This is showing you that we have an 8-foot frame. Okay. This cannot be broken down to become a 4-foot frame. It can, however, have a 2-foot extension added
if you want
to it,
have,
and you can have a 10-foot frame.
Yeah.
And it is a rolling system so that you can roll
so if you see
quilt.
the casters, they can lock. It's also going to roll on, it's rolling in 2 ways. It can roll, it's on wheels, and you roll the quilt on these poles.
Right.
So we have, if you look over here, we have our backing that's actually on the top pole.
Right.
It goes behind the second pole, and then it wraps onto this interior pole on the front. We have our batting, which is actually just kind of like free hanging kind of between it.
Yeah, we trimmed it off.
And then you have your quilt top, which initially rolls onto this frontmost pole.
Right.
And of course, we're pretty advanced into this sample fabric, but you would just lay it here and baste it to the top, and then it will roll under this pole as well. This is kind of your tensioner to keep everything nice and flat.
So I'm going to come around to this side,
where you've got your locking wheels to keep the poles from unrolling on this side here, which you can't see them from that angle.
Yeah, but this is
They're
the
right
locking
here.
part right here.
Yeah.
So up here is the screen. So if you will kind of put your hand right in front of that Pro Stitcher screen.
This one?
Yep, just cover it up. Okay. If you don't add Pro Stitcher Lite to this machine, then this is the screen that you have that comes on the machine. And this is the manual screen. And it can be set up to do manual or precision or cruise control and regulated stitching.
Yes.
Which if you're like me,
both of these are regulated.
I'm all about regulated. Yep, I'm regulated. And then you have the Pro Stitcher Lite that goes on this, it cannot run Pro Stitcher Premium.
No, it's going to run Pro Stitcher Lite. What that's going to mean is while it has many of the same functions, you're going to set a safe space on this machine. I'm going to steal your scissors. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
You're going to run a safe space on this machine by telling the Pro Stitcher where your topmost corner of quilt is, and then you would run it all the way down to your bottom rightmost corner of quilt space is, and that's going to tell the Pro Stitcher where it is you're actually going to be safe to sew.
A safe area to sew in.
Safe to sew, yeah.
Okay, but right now, are we going to start with the manual side of this?
Right, so what I want to show you guys is actually, if you have Pro Stitcher on your Gallant or your Gallant XL, how you would still be able to use it in just manual free motion mode, regulated or unregulated.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to be on my Pro Stitcher screen on the Pro Stitcher tab.
Right.
Okay, and what you're going to see is that I have gears here. Now, right now they're purple with an X through them because I already disabled them.
See that.
But when you are running in Pro Stitcher mode, you'll have orange gears and you'll have crosshairs because now it's reading where my machine is.
Right.
And the gears are engaged because there's gears underneath here that run the machine along the two sets of tracks that make it run automatically. But that means you're going to have more tension on there, and then you can lock your motors to have no movement, right? So if I want to just be able to free motion again, I need to disable these gears. So I'm just going to tap that, and I'm going to wait for a moment. You can hear the gears disable. And then I have my nice free...
Right. So don't force it. If fighting
you
you back,
a lot of pushback,
yeah.
check for why.
Right.
Don't just shove it, you know. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set it up like a normal free motion quilting.
Okay, so before you get going, I'm going to come over here to the side because I want to show how this is threaded. We go from the spool.
We have our spool here, up,
and it comes down.
It has this pre-tensioner here, and then it goes through a guide through my tension. Down under this bar, up into my take-up lever, down to another thread guide, one last thread guide right at the needle, and then into the eye of the needle itself.
Right, so it's not complicated.
No, I mean, it threads like a normal sewing machine as far as, yeah. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of show you guys two things. First off, how we just start to stitch on here, but also a little bit of what you can call like thread painting, one way to kind of do a little bit of custom quilting.
Okay.
So I have drawn on here, if you want to get in close, you can see with my nice bright lights, I've gone ahead and with a Sharpie, which I don't recommend for the video, I wanted you guys to be able to see it.
Yes,
my child's name, just because that was the first thing that came to mind. So I just finished a quilt for her where it was song lyrics on some of the rows as the quilting, and I really wanted you to be able to read them from a distance. And so I did this type of thread painting. Now, again, I used like a wash away fabric marker.
Right.
As
Sharpie's there forever.
Sharpie.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my machine to my start position of my first letter, and I'm doing cursive. You'll find thread painting is much easier with cursive.
And it's easy if it's your own cursive.
Yes, you've got the muscle memory. But I'm going to come up here to my handlebar, and I've got my needle up, down. I'm going to hold my thread. I'm going to do needle down, needle up. I'm going to pull away because that pulls up my bobbin thread. Now, word to the wise, you actually want to do this if you're doing it on Pro Stitcher, automated quilting, or with your free motion.
You need that bobbin thread up at the top.
Yeah.
You'll bury it back in with like just a hand needle.
Right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to return my needle to the position where I first put it down. I'm going to choose what mode I want. Manual means I have to regulate the stitching myself, so no thank you. Precision means that it's going to only move if I'm moving the machine. And cruise is where even when I stop moving, it still continues to sew at a slow pace. In cruise, I have the speed, the kind of the torque speed of that cruise speed, and I have my stitches per inch. Okay. I'm going to leave it on cruise because that's fine. What you'll find is when you hit play, it already starts to run. And then what you're going to do, and here, I'm doing this from a weird angle here.
She's not right in front of it because I'm in her
So
way.
when I do thread painting, I'm going to go back and forth until I think it's visible enough on that part of the letter. And then I'm going to just start the next part.
Hey, can I have you stop for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Can you turn off the light?
Yeah. Yeah, I can turn off the light.
Or turn it down? Oh yeah, because
Is that better, everybody?
Yeah, we couldn't see it.
It'll be harder for me to see, but
it was that's good right there.
Okay.
Oh no, one down. That's great.
Sorry.
It was such a glare.
Okay, sorry. Okay. And actually, I'm going to take this opportunity while we're stopped to
trim your threads.
Trim my threads, yes.
Okay.
Now, if you want to bury your threads, if you're more of a better quilter than I am, then you can certainly bury those before you trim them. Okay. Now, as I'm starting this, I'm realizing I actually don't like crews for this. So I'm going to go back to precision.
Okay.
So what you're going to find with precision, and some people have sometimes called up worried my machine's not working because I hit start, nothing happened. In precision, if you're not moving, neither is the needle. Okay.
That's fair.
Precise, right? So I'm going to hit start, but nothing's going to happen until I move my machine. And then once I'm happy with that amount, I'm going to start the next part. And I can make this as thick as I want. I will say I found I used up bobbins faster than I normally would on my quilting. And you can do this as quickly or as slowly as you're comfortable with. And what I found was that you actually don't want it to be hyper precise, because what you want is for the stitching to be near itself, but not right on top of itself, to create a thicker line. And this takes some practice. But at the end of it, what I had was some really lovely handwritten kind of song lyrics on, it was a nursery rhyme, but song lyrics on my daughter's quilt.
Well, and just so you all have an idea, she also did it on a quilt where she did raw edge appliques on it. So it already kind of had a little bit of a rustic, raw look to it. So having thread painting along with it just kind of played into the same idea. Now, when you get done doing this part of it, I would like you to do a stitching of her name where it's just like a one stitch only, so you can show how pretty. You can also do it if you just want one line of thread.
Okay. And what I'm also going to show you is what I did to get to the next portion, the next word or the next letter, because I'm okay with having basically jump stitches to trim.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is, my needle is down right now. I could change the settings for the needle to be up every time that I stop, but I can just as easily use my handlebar to hit needle up. And then I'm just going to pull a little bit of thread down, and I'm going to move up to the dot of the eye. I'm going to hit start, and then I'm just going to do my little eye dot there, and I'm going to stop again, needle up, pull a little bit down, go back to where I was on this one, or to your next word, however whatever the part you're on is. And then I'm just going to do the next.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
so we're going to stop. And you said just a single line?
Yeah, let's just show what it looks like if you're just doing single line stitching.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So my big reveal here is that I'm much more comfortable doing this if I already have something to draw on top of. Okay. So I'm going to just draw it up.
Again, we would use a washable marker.
Okay.
Not a Sharpie.
But you know what? For you guys, I want you to see. So here we are.
We got to be able to see.
Okay. So again, I'm going to needle up. And for this one, of course, this is maybe a little further apart than words would actually be, but that's okay. So you can see here what I have is basically a jump stitch to trim when I'm done. And if you're not, if you really want to make sure you've got a nice tie in there, then you can just make sure you stitch in the same spot a lot. I just jiggled the machine, and now I've got myself a little knot. Now I wouldn't do that for a single line,
no,
but for my thread
you just
painting,
messed up the single line.
Then I would turn crews back on and let it stitch in place. Okay, so what we're gonna do here. And I apologize, I'm doing this from a slight angle so that
right in front of it, so
can see what we're doing here. And so you can still just stitch in something thin if you did want it to be a more subtle quilting look of words, which I've also done a quilt for large scale words across to do a more subtle song lyric reference. Yeah.
So while we're here, can you go ahead and just do a little bit of stippling stitching just so you can show how easy that is to do?
Yeah.
And you can just have it be connected to that.
Okay, great.
And here, I'm going to suggest to you, can you stipple, where's my hand? I'm looking at the screen. Can you stipple
like this space?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny when you're looking at a screen and then you can't see what you're doing.
Okay, so we're just going to stipple here. Now you can do micro stippling, you can do large scale stippling. Stippling is the kind of thing that, you know, it takes some practice to get used to the idea of what you're...
And just like
what shape
many of
you're
the
making.
machines, if you are on regulated stitching and you go faster than it can keep up with it, it will beep at you. And that's your sign that you need to maybe go a little bit slower, because if it's beeping, the stitches are no longer regulated. You're going faster than it
You're
can.
outpacing the machine. You little
And
speed
quite
demon.
honestly, there's really not a reason to ever sew quite that fast.
I would lose all sense of like, I don't know.
But I've seen some people just like, they come over and they start slinging it around. I'm like, oh, wow. Guess you don't care about the precision of your stitching.
And, you know, stippling, it's one of those things where it's whatever you want it to be. And I think everybody's stippling is going to have kind of their own
right. So go ahead and
signature.
stop, because I want to show something here. You take the screen. I want to show you one that I like to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Jan's going to take the wheel.
And I'm pretty sure it's just called matchstick quilting. You want to come maybe be on this side of me? I think it'll be easier for you to see. And you didn't stop it, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. So I'm just going to, no, you didn't.
Oh.
No, start.
There we go.
So matchstick quilting is when you make lines.
You can also think of it as piano keys, kind of.
Piano keys?
Yeah.
And if I wanted to come across here.
Oh, we're getting a little away from piano keys here.
No, but it's just the idea that I'm just filling in space.
Yeah.
And you can make it as complicated as you want, or you can make it as interesting as you want.
So it becomes kind of like angular stippling.
It is.
And you can actually tell she's getting more confident as she does it because she's speeding up. And you know, really what we're doing actually here, perhaps unintentionally, is we're combining Pro Stitcher computerized quilting with then going back and lending in a bit more handwork to it.
And we can do Pro Stitcher on a different
oh yeah. Pro Stitcher has so much to it. We'll cover that another time.
You know, the one thing I've learned in time is that not to be afraid of the machine. I mean, should you practice a little bit before you commit it to a quilt? Absolutely. Because sure as you don't practice it and you mess up your quilt, you'll get to rip things out. Never had to do that ever. Nope.
Don't currently have one waiting for that.
No, I got my mom to rip it out for me instead. Yeah, we all make mistakes.
Oh, here, wait, I want to show one last thing before we move on.
Okay,
here.
so let's switch back.
Because we're at the end of this and we keep just kind of connecting, but let's give them a quick reminder on how you finish off if you're in the middle of a quilt. Because you're not always going to end up on the end.
No, you're not. Sometimes you end up in the middle.
Yeah. So I'm going to raise my needle. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull thread so that I can go about 6 inches away from where I stopped.
Okay.
I'm going to take that and I'm going to pull it.
Okay, your arm is right in front.
Sorry. Pull it there. Back to where I ended. I'm going to do needle down, needle up, and then I'm going to pull, and that is going to pull up my bobbin. And then I can take my scissors and I can trim. And again, if you're like a competition quilter, leave a longer tail so that you can vary those
That's
tails.
what I would have done. And then another thing I want to mention here is, do you see how that presser foot is down? I mean, it's gliding over the fabric. This is not a machine that has a presser foot up, presser foot down.
No, but it does hop as you stitch.
But consequently, what that means is, because the presser foot is always in the down position, the tension's really tight.
It's always on.
And so sometimes someone new to a long arm machine, they'll think, oh gosh, this tension's way too tight. And it's not.
Which is why when I needed a jump stitch, I'm not just yanking the machine to the side.
You'd break your needle.
I'm pulling slack from here.
Yeah. So just remember, you are stitching always in the down presser foot position.
Yeah, so tensions are engaged.
Yeah, I mean, can you show how it lifts up if you pushed up on the back of the presser foot?
What?
You know how to do that?
Like this?
Yeah. I mean, it can lift up. No?
Oh, there it goes. I'm just not strong enough.
But it's very stiff. So, but there is no real up in it.
Yeah, that's no.
So we hope that you learned something new on that.
Yes.
Why don't we show them a few products that are really handy to have for a long arm machine?
So this machine is currently set up with just the basic foot that it comes with, which is great, but sometimes you need something different. So in particular, we've got an open toe hopping foot. Okay, so in those times when you don't need that complete ring, you need to be able to get other things over to it.
There, the glare on it is.
Oh, sorry. Open toe hopping foot. Okay, so it's going to move up and down in that hopping motion as it stitches, but have that open toe for you to be able to utilize. We do have a ruler and echo quilting foot set. I'm actually going to pop this one open for you guys to see.
But this is kind of fun because it has all of the different.
It's got the adapter and the ankle, and then it also has these 3 feet here.
So as you keep graduating in size, your echoes get further and further away.
Right. That's right. So you'll follow the line of the previous quilting with this great big disc.
Yep.
And they're thick enough, you see here, for ruler work.
Right. So can you grab that ruler behind you?
Yes. So rulers come in all different.
Here, grab out a foot so that you can show it up against that ruler. Open the echo foot.
Oh, okay. Yes.
There we go.
Don't touch
Leading
me.
my horse to water here.
Don't touch
Get the big one that's easy to grab.
Yep. Well, okay. Yeah, but it's not going to go in. So it gives you different ways of utilizing these rulers.
Case in point, here, I'm going to hand you a ruler.
Okay.
Can you hold it? Here, I want you to.
Oh, yes.
I want you to see the thickness difference. Hold them down low. There we go. Okay, so, and this is.
So, and then the foot.
Right.
Is also extremely thick.
If you use the thin ruler that you would typically cut with, it can slide
right
under there.
The
and then when your needle hits that, not only does it break the needle, but you can damage your machine.
But these are going to be thick enough
so
that they won't hop
thick
under.
rulers for ruler work, and you would need a ruler base on your machine. Do not use standard size thickness rulers on a longer machine.
Correct.
Okay.
So we have those.
And then what's this micro quilting foot?
So this is, if you want to do stippling just as tiny as you like, or any kind of very detailed quilting, you're really getting into the art quilting, you're really getting into small piecing that you want quilting and everything. This foot is actually going to sit right up against the needle and press down on your fabric so that it is not giving you as much bounce as what is allowed by a regular foot, because you need less if you're doing the micro quilting. So this is going to allow you to do particularly tiny, close together quilting.
Okay.
And then the last one we have, though this is certainly not all the accessories available, is the couching foot set.
Now
and the nice
used this
thing,
one recently.
I did. The nice thing about this one, other than that it's very well closed, is that this actually is a set of 3 feet. And so what you're going to have in here is, oh, they fell out of the foam.
They're underneath that foam there.
Is what you have. I have to show you the end of the foot here because it has the regular opening for the foot, but then it has a piece of plastic in there with a small hole. And what you actually have here.
There they are.
Yeah, they just fell out of the foam. Is 3 sizes of holes. I'm going to just set them. I'm going to try to hold them all and set them down where you can see.
So that's for the varying sizes of yarn that you would, oh, that's much better. Oh, wow, that is little.
Large, medium, small.
It's like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears.
The idea is, yes, and it tells you in the instructions how to make sure you position this foot so the needle does not strike anything other than that hole. But it's for the different weights of yarn you might want to couch so that the needle will hit it adequately enough to actually couch it.
When we're saying couching, we're talking about how you take yarn and it's topically applied and then the thread is stitching right through the yarn.
Correct.
Yep. It's a beautiful way to embellish something.
It is. It is.
Yep.
One of my favorite ways. Yeah.
Love it a lot.
So you can see here that there are so many possibilities for how you can utilize your long arm.
Let's go over here to the spinner rack just to talk about some of the other things. We've got all sorts of different kinds of rulers.
Of course, the rulers come in every shape you can possibly.
Right. And on those particular ones, the green ones are for like a standard sewing machine,
size home machine,
and then the blue ones are for a long arm
or the extra big boys like the Radiance, the Solaris.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then some of the other tools that we have on there would be the little clamps. We have a stylus. We have laser lights, extra bobbins because they all use the same M-class metal bobbin. We also have a quick set tension kit, which is a great way to be able to judge
all different weights of threads. This will make it super easy for you to adjust your tension between projects.
Instead of just guessing. And
if all you use is 40 weights, set it once and forget it. But none of us are actually that smart.
No, we don't do that. And then we also have some little tools like
Extra clamps if you have need for maybe something can't roll all the way onto the pole. You need to help move it on, hold it on there for a quilt, or you have just different styles of frames.
And then right up there at the top, the bitty buddy.
It's just a nice little trash can.
Nice little trash can. And then you have, you know, if you need
something. These are sliders for your free motion on your flatbeds.
And then we also have
quilting grippy gloves, again, for free motion on your sit-downs.
And then those ergonomic hand aids. Those are great, especially if you're doing a sit-down quilter. Your hands can get tired holding on to a quilt.
Actually, that's very true.
And then we also have over here some other...
some more ruler shapes. These ones are made by Baby Lock.
Yeah, I mean, look at some of these great shapes that they have.
But these are going to be different kits for doing all kinds of different styles of quilting. If true full-on free motion isn't your game and you want to do the ruler work shapes, great way to do quilting. It's going to help you look more precise. That's for sure.
So let's talk about this wonderful thread we have here.
Yes.
This is Madeira. It is the Arrow Quilt Madeira, and you can see we have it in, can you downstack that?
Yes, we have a series of variegated.
And let me show you from the top the pretty colors.
We have a set of neutral tones. This is really great, especially for the new quilter. And then they've come out with this beautiful pack of jewel tones for us.
Okay, so do you want to do the like, share, comment?
No.
No? Okay, because we are going to be giving away, after I wrote it down which one we're doing. The 8123. I have to look and see which one that is.
You wrote down the item code instead of just the name of the...
Yeah, I should have written down what it really was.
Just pick one.
I'll just pick one. I don't remember which one it is. But we'll have to make sure that we have the information out there.
We will.
What do we think?
I think the jewel tones, they're the most fun.
They're so beautiful. They are.
So this is going to be our giveaway, because here's the thing. I love long arm quilting and any form of quilting really. And so I would use the heck out of these on my long arm at home. But even if you don't have a long arm and you sew, which I bet you do if you're watching us, you can still use these with a thread stand on your machine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we've got it in white, navy, pink, red, purple, yellow, lime, and turquoise. I mean, they're black. That's not black. I'm pretty sure it's navy.
The age-old question, is it navy or is it black?
It's black.
Either way, we are going to have one lucky person take home this pack of thread. So how do we do that?
Like, share, comment.
Yes.
And if you do one of those three things, or all three, by Thursday this week at 5 p.m., remember, like, share, and comment, one lucky winner is going to get this thread set.
Okay.
So what is this? What are the specials we have going on this week?
Well, so obviously that quilting thread has to be on sale. So what we're going to do is a buy one, get one free.
That's a great
on
deal.
Any of the Madeira Arrow Quilt 8-packs. Really bulk up your stash of these amazing quilting threads.
That's a great deal.
And then we're also going to do any long arm accessories.
Okay, so these were accessories, but some of the other things that would be
feet were accessories.
Things like there's a notions tray that you can put over your quilting bar. Are casters an accessory? Sure. Casters are accessories. Maybe if you needed rear handles on your long arm,
that's an accessory. We're going to do any long arm accessory. 30% off.
30. Wow.
I just decided.
That's a great deal. So if you've kind of been holding out like, well, I think I'd like to add some of those things to my long arm machine, or maybe you want to get a long arm machine, and this is a great opportunity to buy one,
add extra goodies with it
at a great deal. Absolutely. So
come on down.
Off long arm accessories. Woo, we have some good deals going on.
I know,
because it's still not really spring outside yet.
No.
It kind of is some days, and other days.
Not
all
today,
my daffodils are the leaves are so tall, and all the tips of them are brown because they froze a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
It's true. It's how I feel some days.
That's
a little crispy on the edges, but I'm
still growing. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for New It Too this week. We hope you've learned, and we would love it for you guys to come in and learn more about long arming from us at any of our stores.
Either the Gallant or the Regalia or anything else in between, because you can do all sorts of fun quilting on lots of machines. We're here to help you with it.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.